Another good mark for her. This girl doesn't care what Serebenskaya scored because she's got the crowd on her side. Carolina Pascual. From Spain. Where else? Not unusual. She trapped the club with the spare club on its way down. Quite difficult as well, I'd imagine. Massive double throw to finish. Now, she always says that she's a very, very nervous person, but no trace of nerves there whatsoever. Such a confident routine. Sometimes I think she looks a little bit spiky. Doesn't ever relax into an exercise. Everything's very upright. But nevertheless, good content in that exercise. There's one thing about the Spanish girls. Their routines are always very, very difficult. Sil Chun-yong from North Korea. Little bit of a tangle there. She'll lose 0.1 or 0.2 for that. Good throw, flicks the ribbon off the foot. Well, there were some good tricks in that routine. But again, I think the Koreans must all get their music off the same tape.
Inessa Gitsikova, Russia, cuerda.
Avec la corde, Inessa Gitsikova, Russie.
new face with a rope. Inesa Gizkova. The Russian team here in Alicante, very young indeed. And they're so depleted now they've lost Kostina. Very sharp, clean routine by this tiny, tiny girl.
Elena Vitrichenko, Ucrania, aro.
Certainly has plenty of personality. I've never seen her work before, so she can't have that much international experience. And Pascual, she gets a 9.6 for that club's exercise. So you get the feeling the Spanish girl's certainly going to be challenging for the individual title as well as the team gold. Vitrichenko. Ukrainian number 2. A difficult throw to control. That flick from the foot. Hoop can go off in all sorts of directions. She looked very much at ease with that exercise. Or so she should do. She's probably practiced it about 1,000 times.
Chipre, ballon.
Avec le ballon, Eleni Hadjisava.
Good extension. And again, suppleness on that turn. Eleni Hadjisava from Cyprus. Must get quite confusing for the Cypriot team because one of their girls is called Eleni Hadjisava and one of them is called Elena Shava. This girl has the honor of being the first girl from Cyprus to qualify for an Olympic Games. She went to Barcelona. Didn't finish very high, must be said, but still managed to get there. Still a long way to go. Plenty of ways she can improve her performance. Inessa Kisakova gets a 9-1 for that rope exercise. Now the Israeli girl put in a very, very good performance on ball. Can she match it here with clubs? Oh dear, 2 drops so far. Very strange with the clubs exercise, how a drop can really upset the rhythm of the routine. As well as making you even more anxious about the next catch. There's some good content in that exercise. And she's very economical with her movements, that girl. Quite precise, exact worker. And Vitrichenko, she gets a 9.45 for her hoop exercise. The crowd start going mad.
Carmen Acedo, España, cinta.
As they wait for Carmen Acedo with her rhythm routine. Acedo looking very toned at this competition. Looks like she's been training hard. Quite a tall gymnast. Not quite tall enough to play basketball, which she says is one of her favourite hobbies. Covers the carpet well, does Acedo. Really flies round there. Another great performance from Carmen Acedo. Looking so cool and so confident. She's had this routine a long time. You can almost tell, very at home with it. Almost looks as though she couldn't ever imagine anything going wrong. I imagine she's probably in for another good score on that one. She got a 9-7 for her ball exercise.
Solo nos resta recordarles que mañana a las 9 se reanuda la competición siguiendo con el concurso.
And the score there for Telly Kedishim, 8.9 for her club's exercise. And she's paying the price there for the 2 drops that she had in that routine. This competition really is hotting up into a really good battle. And it's emerged today, I think, that the real medal contenders, particularly for the team event, are Spain, the Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. And I'm sure it's going to be pretty close as to who's going to take the gold. And look at that, 9.5 for Carmen Acedo. And her fans obviously pleased with that, jumping up and down. And their confirmation of the results so far, there's still a fair way to go, but so far Spain leads Bulgaria by 0.25 and the Ukraine. And as far as the individuals go, I would imagine that the Spanish girls have an extremely good chance of being in with the medals. I'd like to apologise now for the croakiness of my voice. It's just trying to recover from flu. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage today from these Rhythmic Gymnastics World Championships in Alicante. Plenty more action to come. Remember, each country has to produce 10 exercises from their 4 gymnasts. The team medal will be decided tomorrow. Hope you can join us then. Bye-bye for now.
The World Rhythmic Gymnastics Championships were brought to you on Eurosport by France Telecom, official partner of gymnastics.
Hello and welcome back to Alicante. Today we've seen most of the gymnasts at these World Championships competing on either 2 or 3 pieces of apparatus in the team competition. And in case you missed our coverage of day 1, we put together a few highlights for you. First of all, Magdalena Breschka from Germany. Breschka really matured as a gymnast over the last couple of years. Has a lovely style. certain presence when she's working. And that hoop exercise was her best performance of the day. Very clean. Good elevation, good leaps. And look at that for a catch. Dives straight through the hoop. And she scored 9.05 for that routine. A new face to international rhythmic gymnastics, Eugenia Pavlina. Very slight girl, as all the Belarusians are, but so strong. So solid on that pirouette, keeps the leg very high. And how about that for a finish? Obviously very confident. She's so flexible, this girl. Look at that, goes way past splits on that balance. One of the girls who's bound to be a medal contender in the individual event, Tatiana Agrisko. Again from Belarus. Now the Belarusians, as well as being in with a chance of a team medal, this girl with a very good chance of an individual medal because her teammate Larissa Lukyanenko broke her foot in training this week and she was favourite for the gold. Lovely clubs exercise. Unusual choice of music. Usually people go for a fast tempo for clubs, but because she's such a good gymnast, she can get away with the very slow lyrical music. Debbie Southwick from Great Britain. Debbie recently named Young Sportswoman of the Year. and really has taken Britain up the world rankings, this girl. Has done a lot of her training in Bulgaria recently, preparing for this competition, and in the last couple of years done a fair bit as well in Russia, and it really shows through in her exercise. Very poised gymnast. And this little live wire is Olga Zaitseva, the smallest girl in the whole competition, but only in stature. Had to stretch out for that one. It's the pull back throw in. And a double roll. Well, if she doesn't win a medal at these championships, certainly a gold medal winner of the future. Good stuff from the little girl. We'll take a break now. Join us again. Welcome back to highlights from day one of the 17th World Rhythmic Gymnastics Championships in Alicante. Clubs, Areti Sinapidou from Greece. Very good control on that double pirouette. Hard to hold the leg so high and turn at the same time. This girl finished 20th at the Europeans last year and 14th at the World Championships the year before when they were in Athens. She'll find it hard to maintain that position this time round because there's such a huge entry at these World Championships. Nevertheless, still puts in a good performance there on clubs. 8.9 was her score for that exercise. Eugenia Pavlina. Very slight gymnast, this. In most countries now, rhythmic gymnasts selected specifically for their shape. I know in some countries they have ways of measuring children's knees so they can find out what they'll look like when they're older, how their body will grow and develop. In rhythmic gymnastics, quite necessary to have a narrow, long, lean shape. She certainly has that. Got some good technique as well, good elevation on those jumps there. And quite a good score too, 9.1. Tatiana Agrisco.
Listen to me, we change the program and the program stop just after Baby. The program stop just after Baby. You say bye-bye everybody just after Baby. Okay, thank you, see you.
This gymnast performs in the typical Belarusian style, very classical, graceful but strong at the same time. Put a lot of emphasis on ballet training. Good technique in that hoop exercise, both in the body elements and with the apparatus. Perfect attitude there on that pirouette. And look at the flexibility on that hand balance, superb. With a score of a 9.45, Agrisco, if she can maintain that sort of standard, will be one of the competitors to watch in the individual all-round. May Bai. Arguably the strongest of the Chinese. Chinese team now coached by Annie Bocheva, who is a former coach to the Bulgarian national team. And really the Bulgarian influence coming through in their work and their choice of music and choreography. Very artistic and very, very polished. And even though she's quite a small gymnast, quite short, she really does seem to fly through the air on the jumps. And the score for Meibai, 8.9 with the ball exercise. I hope that's given you a little bit of a flavour of the competition that we've had today. There's a long way still to go in these World Championships, but I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Join us again. That's all for now. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
The World Rhythmic Gymnastics Championships were brought to you on Eurosport by France Telecom, official partner of gymnastics. And Peugeot. A single touch.
If it was disastrous, just one particular bit where she had to go charging off the mat. But that could be very costly indeed for Spain. Yulia Rasliakova, the next to go in this team competition. Rasliakova had a good international a couple of months ago in Holland. Was second behind Maria Petrova, and it was quite a good field. Didn't take part at the last World Championships, so looking to prove herself. Finishes very, very strongly. A double pirouette, the leg was so tight, almost touching her nose. And that takes strength, and it takes balance. Ekaterina Serebrenskaya from the Ukraine. Serebrenskaya, one of the new stars really of the Ukrainian camp. Ukrainians, two big gymnastic stars, Alexandra Timoshenko and Oksana Skaldina. They're both now retired. So the Ukrainians really rebuilding their team from scratch. This girl really does work like Timoshenko. Makes me wonder if maybe Timoshenko might have had a hand in coaching her. And look at the height on those turning split jumps. every single jump exactly the same. Very perky rhythm routine
Elena
indeed from
Sava,
Serebrenskaya.
Chipre, cuerda.
Avec l'accord,
Loads of
Hélène
personality.
Sava, Chypre.
But tremendous difficulty with the body movements. Held the legs so high on all the balances and got the elevation and the extension on the jumps. Intense start from Carolina Pascual from Spain. Pascual has had a couple of disasters, more earlier in her career really, at the big competitions. But more than made up for it in Barcelona. She took the silver medal all round. Oh, great catch to finish. Double roll. And caught it behind the back of the knee. All the catches very, very difficult. There was that great double pirouette.
República Popular de Corea.
She almost snatched the leg round.
Miranam, République Populaire de Corée.
And of course, great drama created by the music there by Carolina Pascual. Miranam from North Korea. Oh dear, double drop of the clubs. Didn't seem to be a particularly difficult element. Quite often in this sport though, that it's the smaller movements that create the problems, particularly with clubs. She's not hitting these catches perfectly. She's having to readjust the clubs all the time. And of course, every time she does that, the judges are taking marks away from her.
Inesa Gitsikova, Russia, cinta.
Avec le ruban, Inesa Gisikova, Russie.
And look at that score for Pascual. 9.65, that's her highest score so far in this competition. And that will certainly help Spain's cause. Inessa Gizikova. Another young Russian. Gizikova getting her chance, I'm sure, to compete here in Alicante, because the countries are allowed to use 4 gymnasts. Look at that for leg strength. Very powerful balance. Good stuff from Gizikova. I've never seen her before these championships, but I'd say a star to look out for in the future.
Ucrania, cuerda.
Very strong, quite a compact little gymnast. Mira Nam gets 8.75 for that club's routine. From the Ukraine, Elena Shumskaya with rope. Slightly messy catch after that throw. She had a little bit of rope dangling, but managed to get it back together fairly quickly. Bouncy and very fast rope exercise there. Now Carmen Estado, she needs a good clubs routine to finish with. She must have been so disappointed after her hoop exercise. So much pressure on the Spanish girls. Especially when the crowd is so manic about gymnastics. That was close. She almost fell out of that flexion and she was very near the edge of the mat. Another disaster for Carmen Acedo. Great exercise. She'll be kicking herself right on the last throw.
República Popular de Corea. Cinta.
Avec le ruban, Kyung-Hui Lee,
It probably
République
wasn't even
populaire
her
de
most
Corée.
difficult throw either. Complex exercise. She'd really powered her way through it. All she had to do was hang on. Lost it right on the last second. Hee Kyung Lee from North Korea. Girl, winner of the World Student Games when they were in Sheffield in 1991. Remember that because all the Koreans went out and spent a fortune on chocolate, which in theory they're not supposed to eat. And because it's meant to be fattening, chocolate, one of the things that most gymnasts crave. And she's got a knot in that ribbon. Well, did well to get away with that, really. The knot could have got a lot bigger, but she managed to keep the ribbon moving. It didn't affect the exercise too much, but she still will be deducted because it disrupted the flow of the ribbon, ruined the shape of the spirals and the snakes.
Rusia. Cuerda.
Avec l'accord, Julia Rozliakova, Russie.
9-3 the score for Carmen Acedo, so she'll have lost for that last throw, and she'll also have lost out because she had that big wobble and deflection near the beginning. Rozliakova then with rope. Done best on ball so far, has Rozliakova. She got a 9-6 for that yesterday. Unusual jump. That's one of the more difficult leaps in the code. A turning jump. Some of that exercise a little bit static perhaps, but the elements very well done. I mean, look at that leg, so high, almost a perfect standing split on that pirouette, and the balances as well. Very, very solid. Katerina Zarabrenskaya. And uses Alexandra Timoshenko's old music for hoop from Phantom of the Opera. Finishes with a flourish,
Elena
as usual.
Saba, Chipre, balón.
Very long lines. And of course, not as polished as she's going to be in a couple of years' time, but still a formidable gymnast, that girl. And the score for Zarabrenskaya, 9.5. And she's going to make a really good competition of it in the individual all-round, I'm sure. Speaking of tough competitors, Carolina Pascual with her final exercise of the day. And I think they'll count that as a drop. She got a hand to it very quickly, but I'm sure the stick was on the floor. Well, another super performance there from Pascual. I saw her have a dreadful disaster on ribbon at the World Championships in Valladolid a few years ago. And I thought maybe the same thing was going to happen this time after that first throw, but no, she got the exercise back together. And really the pressure was on her because Spain were leading this team competition overnight. Sil Chun-jong from Korea. And I have to say, the Koreans have made some very, very peculiar choices of music, their exercises at this competition. Shows some good leg strength there on the pirouette and on the balance. Keeps the leg very high and locked. It's quite hard to get excited about an exercise when you're not altogether keen on the music. But her individual body elements, very good. Quite strong and extended on the jumps. And the score for Pasquale, 9.4. She did lose for that first throw. Zaripova. She is extremely flexible, is Zaripova, but she does have a tendency to grab at the catches. Certainly doesn't have the poise or the finish of Serebrenskaya. And you could also argue that she also looks pretty bored all the time. Vitrichenko from the Ukraine. Ukrainians, they were in joint second place in this team competition overnight. They were in the silver medal spot with Bulgaria. Very good rolling sequence there. Control the ball. Good catch, illusion turn, and she caught it in a very, very deep flexion. And those one-handed catches, adding to the risk of the element, makes the exercise more difficult. Oh dear, went for that last catch. Fairly difficult one on that back bend on the floor and just missed it. The ball was going just that little bit too far behind her. But luckily she recovered it before the end of the music, because that would have been a much bigger deduction. Very lucky to get that throw. It's going dangerously near the edge. No mistakes from Freighter. She's at a real disadvantage, this girl, because she's so short. All the movements seem very close to her body. They all seem very closed in and cut short. 9.5 the score for Bacheva. Hannah Cheslick. Triple leap sequence. All the gymnasts have to include that in the rope exercise. Finishes with a double illusion turn. Sharp routine from the Polish girl. Good height on the leaps. Very stretched. Gets the back leg nice and high. And a Kubo, well, she gets an 8-9 for her clubs exercise. First routine of this competition for Serena Miladin. One of the youngest members of the Romanian team. Look at that for flexibility and strength. A lot of the body movement in rhythmic gymnastics taken straight from ballet, and that's why most of these gymnasts will spend at least 2 hours a day just perfecting the ballet movements. Well, she gets an 8 and 9 for her clubs exercise. First routine of this competition for Serena Miladin. One of the youngest members of the Romanian team. Look at that for flexibility and strength. A lot of the body movement in rhythmic gymnastics taken straight from ballet, and that's why most of these gymnasts will spend at least 2 hours a day just perfecting the ballet movements, because they do strengthen the muscles as well. Well, a good debut performance from her. They can't complain about that.
Madonna Gimotea, Canada, ballon.
And look at the extension right through to the feet. Almost hyperextended. And poor old Madonna Gimotea, she's working hard tonight. This is her third piece. Well, a better routine from Gimotea, less nervous. She still had that mistake right at the beginning though. Went to go for a roll down the arm, didn't quite push the ball far enough and had to do a bit of a mad scramble. Julia Bacheva did a great ball exercise, got a 9.5 for that. Oh, good leg strength on that pirouette. Kept the leg very high in attitude all the way around. What a great exercise and what a great shame about that drop club in the middle there.
Mio Yamada, Japón, cinta.
Avec le ruban, Mio Yamada, Japon.
Stop talking, please.
But even though Yulia Bacheva had that mistake in clubs, it was still a very tricky routine. Good choreography, packed full of difficulty. Miho Yamada. Very strict rules governing the ribbon exercise due to the new code. Gymnasts have got to include 3 different snaking movements of the ribbon, 3 different spiraling movements of the ribbon. One of them must be with a pirouette, plus the 3 throws. Very clean ending there by Yamada Miho.
Iniciamos el
Quite
grupo
sharp
D.
with her ribbon work.
Groupe D.
And you need to be
Miranam,
with this
República
exercise.
Popular de Corea. Cuerda.
Avec la corde, Mi, Ra, Nam, République populaire de Corée.
Mi Ra Nam from the People's Republic of Korea. Amazes me how the Koreans have the strength to go through their exercises on competition day, because in the training hall out the back they always practice so hard just before they're called onto the floor, and so ferociously that it's amazing they've got any strength left at all. And you certainly don't get in their way, not if you value your life. Good rope technique there. Not quite sure if the exercise quite went with the music.